position, or it was, because Albon has just driven around the side of his good friend.
Thompson with the giveaway. Here's a chance in front. Oh, what a goal by Taze Thompson! TNT blows it up.
Or Quinn.
Or Paterka.
I think they perform better. You know, just they have better chemistry. They move on the ice better. They pass better.
But it's adding.
It's just
on
going
to,
into the whole.
Yeah,
Grand
it's
Prix.
adding on to the drivers' championship and the constructors' championship.
It was a dark and stormy night, and I thought to myself, how can I make my final week before Dead Week better? And the way I thought was at the last episode of Sports Hour of the semester. Today I am joined, firstly, by the graduating senior, Justin Chatema, for his final segment in Sports Hour history. And what are we going to talk about today, Justin?
Why are you saying that? That's... All right, starting off on a horrible note. He will never be here again.
Yes, he will never again be on your television screen.
I'm here to talk about the N, the H, and the L all together, put into one to form the NHL, the National Hockey League.
Right.
When did the playoffs start?
Playoffs started a while ago.
A while ago.
Yeah, and by a while ago, I mean the playoffs began Saturday, April 20th, which is like
that was like
over
9 days.
a week ago,
That was
which
like 9
you
days
know,
ago.
in end of semester terms, forever ago.
That's
really.
true.
9 days ago feels like a year ago.
Feels like forever, but my
me.
body thinks it was yesterday.
And it also feels like a year ago that the Washington Capitals were good at hockey.
Yeah, no, what happened there? Alex, hello?
Alex Ovechkin didn't score.
What are you doing?
At all.
He reached his, I think it might be fair to say that he has peaked.
Perhaps it's worth mentioning that he does qualify for Social Security at this point.
Oh my God.
He doesn't actually.
Oh.
That's a joke. It's just that he's very old, you know.
is.
He's like, 48, 49. I think he's pushing 70.
You know what's crazy? I've heard he drinks like Coca-Cola while he plays hockey.
Yeah, like his Gatorade
Like out of,
bottle
yeah,
is
like
full
out
of
of his
Coke.
Gatorade bottle is like Coca-Cola.
Wow.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that.
I mean, with the way he played in this series, I wouldn't doubt it.
Maybe it's like all the years racking up. It's like
Right,
It worked
yeah.
when he was a young stud.
And like he got the habit going.
Maybe get water a try.
The addiction.
Yeah.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Give peace a try. John Lennon.
Anyway.
Alex Ovechkin needed to give scoring a try this series. He didn't at all. And the New York Rangers unfortunately swept the Washington Capitals. Not much to really say about this besides the New York Rangers continued playing very solid hockey. I think the Rangers' ability to get offense and defense from every line is just, duh, that's how good hockey teams are played. But like their forwards can play both ways and their defensemen can play both ways. And also like their best players are like hitting their strides right now. Artemi Panarin has scored or assisted in every game of the 4-game sweep. Capo Kakko is absolutely insane, and Alex Lafreniere is a beast. And also really solid goaltending across the series itself. I don't know how much of it was just poor offense played by the Capitals, but Igor Shesterkin continues to be one of the best tenders and netminders in the game. They are the only team so far to have won their playoff series as they had the 4-game sweep. No other team got swept, although the other series are not looking very equivalent in terms of ability.
For the other series?
Yes.
Yeah, no. It's very much lopsided with every other series that's going on. There's always a team that gets swept, and since the Sabres did not make the playoffs this year, it had to be the Capitals.
Unfortunately, yeah. They were the lowest seed, right? They were the last wild card team from the Atlantic League.
And everywhere else it's 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, except Dallas and Vegas, which is 2-1 up by Vegas. I could very well see the Rangers definitely make it to the Eastern Conference Final, regardless of who wins between Carolina and the Islanders.
Yeah.
I think no matter who wins in that series, it's kind of like the way the Rangers have been playing.
Right. We have no reason to believe
that they will lose.
That there is a chance the New York Rangers choke.
Yeah.
But have we ever before? No.
True.
And have they many times? Yes. I'm personally hoping the best way this goes is the Islanders reverse sweep the Hurricanes. Not reverse sweep, but they come back down 3-1 and then win the Subway Series in Long Island. Or maybe in the Borough. I think that'd probably be better. In Manhattan.
Yeah.
Going into the Garden.
In the Garden? Come on.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
No, that'd be insane. I would love the Islanders to win because then it would just be it'd be rivals.
Yeah, it'd be
in the
salt in the
playoffs.
wound,
It would be
yeah.
so intense. Playoff hockey is already intense. That rivalry ingrained in all the players will just further boost their morale and boost the intensity that they're going to play.
Right, the Isles would stop being like the neglected stepchild of New York hockey and actually step into their own limelight by destroying the Rangers
exactly.
in a
That would
four-game
be
sweep.
it'd be the comeback of the century. Really.
It really would be incredible. I think the only series to me that's looked anywhere near close is, I mean, they're all pretty close, but they're kind of lopsided. The Stars Golden Knights series I think has been really good. Just like solid hockey, two teams that I think are relatively on par. I mean, Game 3 did go into overtime. I didn't catch the overtime because it's West Coast and it started at like 11 p.m. for some reason. So it was like the overtime happened at like 1:30. But that game was really neck and neck, and the Stars won that, took that one in overtime. I think that. Oh, you can go.
No, go ahead.
I think the series hinges on can the Golden Knights' best stars, pun not intended, beat the Dallas Stars' best stars, right? Like the role players and like the average players that are like not like marquee names are pretty equivalent across the board.
I understand what you're saying.
So it really comes down to this like can the top guys get their team over the hump?
And that's equivalent in the Rangers in that every player just kind of they're good, they're just not like with Vegas it's just you got key names. Yeah, Vegas you got a lot of guys that are just like those dudes. Jack Eichel comes to mind. Yeah, like he's that
Barbashev.
guy. He's that guy on those teams.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Logan Thompson had a really good game in net. 46 save attempts, 43 saves total, 93. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, looking at 46 shots and only letting three of them get past you, you can't really ask for better. It was just like the Golden Knights did score a shorthanded goal. Eichel scored it on a shorthand, so that continues the trend of former Buffalo Sabres scoring these playoffs. You weren't here last week, Justin.
No, I was
when me and Michael covered NHL. In every game except one, where it was impossible for it to happen, a former Buffalo Sabre scored a goal in the playoffs.
It's almost like we need a new coach.
It's almost as though it wasn't a personnel problem.
Heyo. Yeah, let's see what happens next season behind Lindy. But
Again, Lindy's back.
Lindy's back. He's so back.
We're so back.
I saw this shocked me. Was it yesterday's game? I think. Was it yesterday's game? No, 2 days ago. Saturday's game. Panthers Lightning. Panthers got 16 penalty minutes.
Yeah.
Things get so intense during playoff hockey. I love it. Seeing the Bruins and the Leafs, probably the top two kind of dirtiest teams in the league.
Right.
Go at it,
Yeah.
and they don't care. They do not care.
They don't.
They just
especially the games in Toronto. I mean, they lost their last game in
the stripe in
the sixth.
The Stripes may as well just wear white shirts because they're just blended into the ice.
Yeah,
at that point.
yeah.
Like,
they're
just
completely transparent out
do
there.
not care. Yeah. And it's fun to watch. I mean,
it's definitely entertaining hockey.
Oh yeah,
it's not clean
for sure.
hockey.
Oh,
Ilya
no.
Labushkin. I mean, these guys, TJ Brody. These guys do not care for the well-being of the opponents.
Nope.
Ilya Samsonov, the keeper. John Tavares, still getting minutes in hockey games.
How old is he now?
I mean, his brother plays lacrosse, so 33 years old. So he's still got some tread on the tires.
How old is Ovechkin? Because I forget how.
Ovechkin's 70.
He's 70 years old. He's 30. He's 38.
Yeah, 38, aka 97.
in hockey years. Done.
Alexander Ovechkin's equivalent to driving like a 1998 Toyota Camry. You know what I mean? Or like you can't sell it.
He's got the mileage.
It still runs.
It still runs.
Sometimes you can hit 80 on the thruway.
Does it run well?
Rattles a little bit.
Does it
but
run
like
well?
that's your Toyota Camry.
Because
right?
you're putting Coca-Cola in the engine for the gas.
Yeah, it runs on prayer.
Yeah.
And dream.
Living on a prayer.
hope,
That should be his walkout song. Is living on a prayer.
Yeah, and if the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs can teach you anything, it's that hopes is not enough to win a playoff series.
No, because we've been at that ever since our franchise got created.
Right.
Both
the
franchises.
Bills, any Buffalo sports team, not in the Buffalo Bandits, actually.
Yeah.
Just pathetic, really.
I've been praying since I exit out of the womb.
Yeah, since I achieved sapience, I've been praying for Buffalo sports team.
So that is proof that it does not work.
Right.
There is no God, and he certainly does not believe in the Bills or the Buffalo Sabres.
Or Alexander Ovechkin.
Or the Toyota Camry.
His
time's up.
Yeah, so I will be looking forward to the Alexander Ovechkin retirement announcement coming probably shortly.
Along with, how old is Crosby? Now, speaking of which,
Sidney Crosby, is he going to retire?
he
He played pretty good this season.
there is a difference in age, but like he's still going to
Like
be.
they entered the league relatively the same time.
Yeah,
right?
36. Okay, so 2 years behind Alex.
36. Yeah, he's a pretty good one. He's pretty
He's
good.
probably gonna have another.
Yeah,
I'd say like another 5 years with him.
Yeah, but
He's limber.
we're having a changing of the guard in the NHL. And we're also having a changing of the guard on Sports Hour, as we're going to take a quick 1-minute break. Thank you so much for coming on, Justin.
Of course.
Hope you enjoyed your segment.
Yes, I did.
And I hope you guys enjoy the next segment coming up in 1 minute. We're going to talk some NLL with Lily and who?
Who?
Stay tuned.
Are we owls?
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And welcome back
What is this?
to the NLL segment, joined by the lovely Lily Hauer at the far left of the far right of your television screen, and Trevor Hauer, the predecessor, the originator, the origin,
One
the
of them.
prodigal. Welcome back to Sports Hour. And
always great to be
welcome
back.
to winning in the playoffs,
Yup.
the Buffalo Bandits.
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party. That's what they say on Grove Street.
So true.
Yep.
We are on our way to the semifinals.
We are on our way to the semifinals, and
Bandits on a warpath, baby.
it was not a stress-free experience getting there.
Not at all.
No, it was, oh my God,
I
I
would
don't
say it
even
was pretty
know
stressful.
how to even explain it unless
Right,
you were
because
there.
like I was nervous. I was biting my fingernails on the television screen. You guys were there, in the elements,
in the ghost
in,
face
in the
mask.
ghost face
I'm
mask.
just now recovering. My voice is fully back now, but it wasn't all the way there.
It's a lot of screaming.
Very much gone.
It's a lot of screaming.
It was a lot of screaming, and we'll just get right into it. So, like we said, on our way to the semifinals, crazy game. We took out the Georgia Swarm. Crazy intense game. Super nail biting, as Ethan put it.
Yes.
Start to finish, it was just nothing was comfortable. At least I can say nothing was comfortable.
I mean, the 3-goal lead was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Going up 8-5 was fun for a while, and then it started turning into Revenge of the Zebras, and we started getting screwed by those guys in the striped shirts, and then
as per usual.
beers were getting thrown onto the field. It was
Yeah, but I mean, par for the course that like the refs did have a big play, big part of the game, especially because like the three goals we scored in a row, which was the Byrne, Yannick, and the Klucher goals in the third quarter to put us up 8-5, all came on a power play.
Yep.
So it was, I mean, both ways. I think that the refs did impact this game, no doubt. In fact, if you look at the extra stats, we scored 4 power play goals in this game of our 10 goals that ended up being scored.
And something that not a lot of people realize, the Bandits, whenever they had a 5-minute major, like if they went on the power play for 5 minutes, they'd be lucky to score 1. Like they can score on every 2-minute penalty, but whenever they got a 5-minute penalty, they give up like 3 shorthanded goals. They scored 2 on the major penalty when Dane Smith got boarded.
Because you can do that.
That was a good call, by the way. But I don't know, Josh Byrne getting checked from behind that wasn't called, and then Swarm player ripping the stick out of Cam Wires' hands as a holding penalty, right?
We don't have enough time in our segment here to talk about the amount of things that were not called.
Oh, and the 9-second shot clock violation that was never called. It's
Never
actually
called.
8 seconds, but they called timeout with 21 seconds to go on the shot clock.
Oh, if we're gonna talk about shot clock and just shots, can we talk about
The 10th
Dane
goal?
Smith's 10th goal that did not count?
Literally no time left. Okay, goal line's here, the ball's like here when the clock hits 000.
I was just telling Jenna, because we were talking about how Josh Byrne had scored in Game 3 with like 1 second left to go in Game 3 of the finals in like the second quarter. And I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, Josh Byrne could do it, so someone else would probably do it. Dane Smith does it. We are screaming. We are jumping up and down. We were freaking out like we just won the championship. And no, we're just going to call it off. We're just going to call it off. It's fine.
Because it wasn't a goal. That's why. Because this isn't basketball rules. Like.
Well, that makes me sad. Did they ever think that maybe that it should count as a goal because I wanted it to?
I personally, I'm in the Lily Howard boat here. I think it should have counted. I think if the ball is released before the clock hits 0, the shot should count.
You got to take that up with the commish.
And I will.
One.
And I'll send him a very strongly worded letter in the mail. Unfortunately, though, for us Bandits fans, Josh Byrne and Dane Smith would get their revenge. Revenge of the Sith.
Josh played hero ball, man.
Josh
5 goals.
And this is why he is my GOAT.
5 goals out of 10. That's
5 goals.
50%.
50% of the Buffalo Bandits' output. And I guess my question is 5 goals from one player sustainable in the playoffs?
Dude, I mean, we were missing him all last year.
That's
and then
right.
he showed up in Game 3. So all the goals that he was supposed to score last playoffs, he's bringing that into this year. So
He's carried it over.
hopefully he doesn't like fizzle out. Hopefully he keeps this pace going. But
we've got players like Tehoka, Nanticoke,
yeah, Nanticoke and Kluche and Ian McKay and Nick Weiss scoring in transition.
Yeah.
Dane
Smith being the facilitator, like the offense, as much as Josh Byrne scored 5 goals, I feel like the offense really flows for Dane
Well,
Smith.
that is very true because I think they're 1-2 in points, Dane Smith and Josh Byrne.
Yep.
But what's scary to the rest of the league, or what should be scary, is that the Bandits won this game 10-9 against the referees and the Georgia Swarm.
And the Georgia Swarm, like we were here, Swarm was here.
Yeah,
like,
and Dane Smith didn't even score, and Chase Fraser didn't even score.
Oh.
And
Wait,
we
hold on.
still won the game.
Hold on.
Just
speaking
just
of
so
Chase
you know.
Fraser, just speaking of Chase Fraser, I think we have something to show the people
Oh,
at home.
should I slide my chair away?
I think you might need to, Trevor, because I think we have not one
Yeah,
but 2
just-
videos.
So I'm kind of in a
Slide
bad
this way.
spot right now.
No, slide towards
Oh,
me,
I'm gonna
Trevor.
slide towards
host,
Ethan.
Host half of the table.
I used to sit on this side of the table, believe it
know,
or not,
it's
back in the day.
familiar
So
territory.
this is very, very familiar to me, and
There we go.
I've had.
You are my sunshine, Chase Fraser. And speaking of You Are My Sunshine, this is my mom's sunshine right here.
Yeah, do you know who this is?
Hey, Sue, how's it going? See you next weekend. Let's go!
You know who that guy is?
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Chase Fraser.
Chase Fraser.
My mom's Pookie.
And
in
he's
case you
seen
didn't hear
her.
it, he said, "Hey Sue, how's it going?" So that was a
So
shout out to him.
Sue
Oh,
Howard.
and if you haven't noticed, Josh Byrne is bigger on this board now, as he should be.
Oh yeah, and we also didn't even go over our main characters. Like,
We haven't.
do you remember what's the difference between the 3 Who's houses and
So
Who's Who?
Chuck E. Cheese has got. Well, that's Mark Steinhaus DJing at Chuck E. Cheese.
That's
DJ
Chuck E. Cheese.
Steinhaus at
Yep.
Chuck E. Cheese.
That's Chuck E. Cheese. We just call him OG, Mark.
Yeah, and then the one up there in the top right on my.
Can we see half of his
oh,
face?
I'm
Yeah, way over here.
over where this one here. That is our Chautauqua Institute attic.
Yes, that's where he got his lacrosse stick, but you can't even see it because it got cut off.
Can't even see it because he's
And
lost.
then-
it,
And
but he's
you
got
guys know who this is.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Brad's still here for some reason.
Brad, my gang, my goat.
Man, he's out of the playoffs though. But what I was saying before,
He went
you
to
know,
Disneyland. It
we
was
had
nice.
these 2 wonderful videos that were shown. One of them, we have to shout out Cobblestone. I mean, such a great establishment. We love that place. Great drinks, and
Can't wait to go.
I would say solid B+ chicken wings there too.
B+. That's not bad. B+.
yeah.
That's almost an A.
B for
I'm
Buffalo.
never gonna settle for a bad wing, right?
Exactly, can't.
I'll be like
Can't.
Dave Portnoy with the pizza reviews, but for chicken wings.
One bite chicken review.
Yep,
do
one bite
that.
chicken. I could have
You
done
should
do
something.
that for the
trademark
Bandits.
I could have done that for the Bandits, right?
You should trademark that.
But you know what? We did it. We scored all these goals. We won in overtime. We faced against the officials.
And the
the
Swarm.
Swarm. And Fraser and Dane didn't even score. When they start clicking, and believe me, they will.
Against
when they
the
play
Rock?
the Toronto Rock coming up.
And the
kidding
Toronto
me?
Rock, who by all accounts and figures are on fire.
Yeah,
Oh,
first
they're
place. They're first place. Yeah.
Inarguably, statistically, the best team in the league this season.
They've been
14
great
and 4,
this
right?
year
13
against
and 4.
everyone but the Bandits.
Yeah, the Bandits gave them 2 out of their 4 losses.
So just as Josh Byrne accounted for 50% of the Buffalo Bandits' goals, the Buffalo Bandits have accounted for 50% of the Toronto Rock's losses. We have the Sixes number.
That's right.
And I think another big advantage I think we have going into the season after they narrowly defeated the Rochester Nighthawks 9-6 is it's a 3-game series starting the semis.
Yep.
Yep.
So we got some wiggle room.
Hello, safety net.
Right.
Yep.
Got a little insurance policy. They got to come and beat us in the
They
barn.
called Jake from State Farm. They're like, yo, we can give you 2 out of 3.
Oh, I was thinking
Yeah.
the Allstate guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
oh,
are
no,
you
the
in good
Aflac
hands?
duck.
Oh,
Yeah.
They called the Aflac duck.
Yeah, they called that guy. What's his name? Danger.
They actually called Dan from O-Town.
Oh,
and
right, 'cause O-Town
he
wins
started
the
a new
championships.
he started a new insurance company
Called Josh Byrne.
called Whose House.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Who's that?
Yep.
I liked
Yeah.
him being called Josh
And then
Byrne.
you know what the jingle is, right? It's the O-Town. All right, now it's time to stop. Get back into the bandit stuff. Get back into the bandits.
Into the bandit stuff.
Get back
Looking
into the
ahead,
bandits.
our first game of the 3-game series happens this Friday.
Fred Fest.
Fred Fest Friday.
Toronto.
It's in
in
Hamilton.
It's Hamilton.
In the first Ontario Center, which they're calling Toronto. As
Frauds.
a Canadian, I feel like that's disrespectful. Hamilton's about 30 minutes away from Toronto.
Hamilton's the homeland of Finger 11, right? Like if I trade
And
it
Youngblood with Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Paralyzer, yeah. Shout out Justin, he knows that song.
Paralyzed is a good song.
I'm
If
not paralyzed,
paralyzed.
but I seem to be struck by the Bandits because
By
they're going to go back to the
And the Bandits
championship.
got to make it move.
Yep.
In the First Ontario Center on Friday.
Well, Toronto's going to be moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Toronto will be moving, and if we can steal a win in Toronto Game 1, I am more than convinced we can come
But
back
there are
Sunday
4 teams left, though.
in the KeyBank Center.
We've got
San
the
Diego,
Firewolves,
yep.
San Diego, our Buffalo Bandits.
Your
and
Buffalo Bandits.
the
and the
Toronto
Albany. And in that case, unfortunately, that's all the time we have on this segment. We're going to pop into a quick 1-minute break before we go talk some driving in circles with Catherine Lee. Don't
Let's
anywhere.
go, Bandits! Whose house?
What do you think of? Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my god, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
And sports fans, although it's the last time we would remind you this academic year, I really hope you do not forget about the merch. Just as I'm not going to forget about how lovely this Formula 1 segment has been with you. Katie, and welcome to the final one of those, as we have a lot to get through in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can't believe we've made it to the final one.
It's been a ride.
Yeah.
It's been a journey. 2 years now we've been talking Formula 1.
Yeah, so let's talk some more.
Let's talk it for one last time.
So the most recent race was China, but during that, Formula One, the announcers announced that Formula One will be reevaluating the point system. So right now the points only go to 10th, and you get 1 point for 10th, and whatever, and then everybody else gets no points. But like in other series like IndyCar, almost every single driver gets at least some sort of points to keep the championship closer, and almost last year was the first year in a long time where IndyCar didn't come down to the final race.
Right.
So that'll be, I know Red Bull is dominating and Max Verstappen is dominating, but they're possibly thinking about points down to 12th, which I think will bring a lot of teams closer, especially those midfield teams like, I don't know.
Like Alpine.
like Alpine, Williams, all of those teams.
Yeah.
Like,
the middle of the pack teams that aren't really going to go out and win any kind of races. Like, no one's sitting down and like, oh boy, I really hope Aston Martin pulls this one out, because no one's really believing that they will. But it is super interesting to see how Aston Martin can like stack up against Williams or what's the team?
Or Sauber.
Or Kit Sauber, and like maybe like. Because we all know Verstappen's going to win as long as he can drive. But it'll be interesting to see how they can interact like middle of the pack, because like it still matters between 4th and 5th about like prize pool money, exposure, you know, endorsements, advertisements, etc. It all factors in like how like those 4th, 5th, 6th place races matter a lot more. And although I do wonder if sort of like making every point, every position get a point. I know it's not the case, but this one it's like only the top 12 get points. But is the more positions that get points going to impact how valuable points become, and therefore maybe teams get more complacent in the middle of the pack. Maybe they don't go for as many overtakes as they would in that 11-10 sort of.
Well, it's kind of
barrier.
like the opposite now too, because they're not getting points. What's the point of fighting for 15th, 14th?
Right.
Not 10th.
11th,
12th, 13th. What is the point?
Yeah, if you're not in 11th, what's really the point?
If you're not
to get there?
even close to getting points.
That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense.
But
that's neither here nor there, though.
Yeah, they're still talking about it. I think
it was just more of like a hypothetical. Hey, we could be doing this.
Yeah. So, which I think will be good for the sport. But another good thing for the sport is China. China.
One of the prettiest circuits in my opinion, on the schedule. I think it's one of the best courses.
Yeah, it was really fun because it wasn't there last year, so like I didn't see them race around there, but it was really fun and it brought on some good action other than Max Verstappen obviously winning.
Right.
Everything,
I think it's one thing I'd report it to you. Like if you like the day Max Verstappen doesn't win a Formula One Grand Prix, you will know.
Yeah.
Trust me. I'll be wearing sunglasses, party poppers, champagne will be going everywhere. I'll get fined in the studio. It'll be great. But yeah, he wins obviously, but other stuff happened too.
Yeah, so it was the first sprint weekend of the year, which we agreed we don't really like the sprints, but it provided Lando Norris with a pole position for the sprint race.
His first pole of the season.
Yes, and so I didn't watch that because it was at like 3 a.m., so I wasn't going to wake up for that. But it was, I'm assuming it was a really good qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm assuming it was intense because Verstappen didn't win, so something cool must have happened.
He actually ended up like 4th in qualifying, but he did go on to win the sprint race. But Lewis Hamilton was fighting him for a couple laps for P1 in the actual sprint race, and he ended up P2, and Lando Norris ended up farther down than that. But
but he was there, like he was hanging out for a
But
little
he
bit.
was there fighting, and I think he had to do something. I think
he pitted at like a bad time. You did not pit during sprints.
No.
Right.
I think that was during the race. But
right, yeah, he did a missed-time pit during the actual race. I do remember that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I don't know. But, so, even though Max won, Lewis Hamilton got P2, so...
Not horrible.
He got 7 points for that.
7 points, huge.
7 points is 7 points for Mercedes.
Can't complain. Mercedes really looking forward to fighting for that second place spot. And a lot of the talk around the Formula One community right now is like, oh, Lewis Hamilton needs a better car.
Yeah.
Because right now, I think it's safe to say, looking at the races with the Mercedes racers, their cars simply cannot do the things that the others around them can. Red Bull's cars, even Ferrari's cars, I think they're quite clearly better than the Benzes. So it'll be interesting to see Hamilton in a new livery next year and see what he can do with sort of the quote-unquote top-of-the-line vehicles.
Yeah, so... Yeah, it will be interesting to see what he's going to do at Ferrari and what Ferrari does for him as well. So, because they have done a lot to ensure that Lewis Hamilton will be at their team.
Right.
Including, I'm pretty sure, paying him like $100 million. But, maybe he deserves it for being a 7-time world champion.
For being a 7-time world champion, and before Max Verstappen existed, indisputably the best racer of all time.
Exactly. So, but the actual race was China's first time having a Chinese driver on the grid.
Which is incredible for the sport, and for just like racing in general. It's quite insane that for the longest Formula One has been around, that the most populous country in the world has never had one of their countrymen behind the seats and the wheels of one of the vehicles. Guang Yu Zhou didn't finish with any points in this race, unfortunately. It's usually just sort of happens that like the racers typically score in their home race. Yuki Tsunoda scored in his home race. Sergio Perez this year won his home race, I believe, didn't he? Didn't Perez win in Mexico?
I don't think so.
Didn't I maybe finish pole? Not for pole. Maybe finish top 3. Maybe got podium.
Maybe.
But yes, unfortunately, Guangzhou did not win or did not score any points this year.
Yeah.
But it was still a good race for him, in my opinion. And even if he won out there and DNF'd in the first lap, I still think it's that incredible that we finally had change of position behind the wheel of the vehicle.
Yeah, and so he did end up 14th, which not terrible, especially for Sauber, but they had like a special little placard behind the top 3 cars for him, and he just got to feel all of the fans' love. And
and they gave him like a walkout and everything, and it was great. It was good stuff.
But like, as he deserves. He hasn't had his home race the whole time he's been there.
Right, and he's been there for a couple of years now, so.
Yeah, and it's his 3rd time. It's his 3rd year racing, so.
It's not all sunshine and roses, though. Guangzhou did get a hero's welcome. It was not a hero's race. Daniel Ricciardo and Lance Stroll are not friends.
They got beat
at the moment.
Oh gosh. So I think they had to restart at one point. No, I don't. It was 3 a.m. when I watched it. I couldn't.
Right.
They
not conducive to Eastern-minded brains, but wasn't there a crash?
So they were. I think it was after a safety car. So they were restarting, and Lance Stroll was behind Daniel Ricciardo, and Daniel Ricciardo was slowing down to not hit Oscar Piastri, who was in front of him, and they were going into, I believe, turn 1, and you could tell on Lance Stroll's onboard he was going way too fast into the corner, and he ended up rear-ending Daniel Ricciardo, which ruined his diffuser, which then in turn ruined his race.
DNF, pretty much.
Yes, ruined his race. And then, so Daniel goes into Oscar, which causes some damage on Oscar, but like Oscar still finished the race.
Credit to Piastri for recovering the way he did, though.
Yeah.
He did finish 8th, which is above Hamilton, Hülkenberg,
Yeah, and
Ocon.
so you can see on the onboard that Lance Stroll wasn't even looking at Daniel Ricciardo. He was looking into the corner, so he didn't even really realize that Daniel Ricciardo was slowing way down. And on the radio, like that, on his radio, on Stroll's radio, he was like, what is this guy's problem? Like, he doesn't know how to drive. And then, like, Daniel Ricciardo, like...
low-key valid.
But it was Lance Stroll's fault.
Right.
So Daniel Ricciardo wasn't that mad at him just thinking it was like a racing incident, but then it wasn't a racing incident and it was Lance Stroll's fault.
Right.
But then, so just one thing. So into the Miami weekend, it was announced that Nico Hülkenberg was going into Sauber. So he has a seat secured for next year, but we'll have to see about everybody else.
What happens next year?
Yeah.
As a lot of really important drivers still unsigned, chiefly among them, Carlos Sainz Jr. So we'll have to take a look at what happens in Miami for the rest of the season. But unfortunately, you guys have to do that on your own, as it's the last time it's like Formula One on Sports Hour right now. So thank you so much for coming on, Katie. We have a quick 1-minute break coming up, and then we will talk some baseball with Mike. Don't go anywhere.
Adios.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Oh my goodness. Welcome back.
So back.
We're so back. And Mike, you know, usually I do it, but I think it'd be quite quaint if today, as it is your last time on the show, you get a chance to break down the current scores in the Major League Baseball Association. What do you think?
I think that's great. I just have to get them up first because for the last 2 weeks I've had them up, and you did it, and then now I don't. So start things off. Mets Cubs, top of the 8th, 1 run. Mets are up by 1 run. Bottom of the 7th, Yankees Orioles. Orioles are up by 1 run. In the top of the 7th with the Nationals and the Marlins, the Marlins are up.
Nope, that is leading that
the
one.
Nationals are up 7-4.
2.
7-2. Oh my God! I read the hit. Sorry, they have but the Marlins do have 4 hits. The Tampa Bay Rays up in the bottom of the 4th, ahead by 1 run.
Yep.
Royals, Blue Jays. Blue Jays up by 1, 4-3. Twins, White Sox tied currently,
yes, that's right.
Tied currently at 2-2. Phillies, Angels hasn't started yet. And then your matchups for the rest of the day are Phillies, Angels, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Pirates, Athletics, Reds, Padres, Braves, Mariners, and Cardinals, Tigers.
So a great slate of games going on at the moment. Diving right in, I think the Washington Nationals are, in my opinion, playing far above what is expected of them. And the Miami Marlins are really, really bad.
Yeah, they're
at baseball.
really bad.
They are
just horrendous. Actually.
Garbage at the sport.
The Miami Marlins are not doing so good.
But you would
today.
think that, like, on paper, looking at this team, where is the issue? You still have Luis Arias. You still have Jesus Sanchez. You still have Vidal Brujan. You still have Josh Chisholm, and you still have Nick Gordon and Tim Anderson and Brian De La Cruz. So, like, the offense, like, these names should mean something. Trevor Rogers, Nathan Maldonado in the pitching, and they're still getting slammed.
No,
granted, it's early in the year.
It is early in the year, and I think to a certain degree you can really produce a good team on paper. And you can even produce a team that should do well. Like, there's no reason it shouldn't. And a lot of baseball is just luck. And so you can lose a sizable amount of games due to just bad luck. You know, you could have, I don't know what their stats are on, like, how many hard hit balls they have or, like, things like that.
BABIP and, like, expected weighted outs batting average.
But to a certain degree, it's just that they're playing bad. It does have to just be that they're playing bad baseball because they are just so far under 500.
Right.
For even now,
you don't want to start like almost 30 games in the season right now, and they are actually this is their 30th game of the year, and it's looking like they're going to fall to 6-24, which. Grab your shovels, Miami. Otherwise, you're going to be looking at the top prospects coming up in the MLB draft coming up in May.
And the thing was, they were so good last year. Like,
right,
you think
and they were
about
like the cardiac kids, Sandy Alcantara.
Like, they were
Yuri Perez.
They were really one of the, like, surprise breakout teams last year. Especially,
Jazz Chisholm Jr. was huge.
Going off, they're like, oh, the Miami Marlins are kind of cooking.
Right. How about those MMs down south?
And now this year, it's just, it's the Miami Marlins. Whoever's playing them's probably going to win the series.
Right, like not sweeping them is a loss if it feels like a loss at least. But luckily, however, they're not alone in being really bad at baseball.
They're not.
The Chicago White Sox
also really bad at baseball.
Also terrible at baseball. In fact, it's surprising to see that neither the White Sox nor the Marlins have fired anyone.
Yeah.
This is both teams are the first of their kind to start the season so bad and not have already made some sort of move. A couple years back, when the Tigers started really horrible, they fired their GM. And then a couple years before then, like in 1980 something, a team started equally as bad, about 6 wins, 25 losses, and they fired their manager and their coaches, not the GM though. He stayed.
Yeah. The thing is, like, part of that is public pressure because, like, to a certain degree, like, obviously, like, all of those people are sort of, I don't want to say expendable, but, like, if the team's doing bad anyway,
someone's got to be scared.
Someone's got to get fired. Someone's got to fall on the sword. And, these bigger cities, especially, you think Chicago, you think especially New York, particularly Yankees fans, but Mets fans too, Phillies, Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
All these bigger cities tend to have very volatile baseball fan bases. And if the team is underperforming, people will start screaming from the rooftops and lighting their hair on fire.
Very true point. Whereas comparatively the Miami Marlins, for example, I don't think anyone in Miami is worried about what's going on in the baseball world.
They're too busy hanging out at the beach to really, I guess they lost again.
Surf Club, Outer Harbor, Key West, etc. So that's probably a good point. But if I was the owner of the Chicago White Sox and I'm in New Orleans, heads would be rolling immediately. But I understand there's probably more that goes into it than that. The Sox that are coming off a series sweep, they swept a strong team, no less. The Tampa Bay Rays are currently up 1-0.
Very interesting.
These are the Rays. The Rays
haven't been doing that hot this year.
They haven't been super hot, but neither really has any real team not named like the Cleveland Guardians or the Cleveland Guardians or the Atlanta Braves. I feel like every team this season's kind of been that had their games where it's like this is the best team ever assembled. Yeah. Like this is the.
They all seem to be like they're just having good days, and like when they have good days, they beat up on whoever they're playing.
Very reminiscent of April baseball, in the sense that like anybody can beat anybody. We're just we're still feeling out lineups, still feeling out pressure. We're still getting used to traveling, still getting used to playing the games, playing different positions. How conditioned are you, etc. Yeah. So it's really a volatile time for baseball.
And all these online forums in general are just filled with insert team logo. The season is over, or insert team logo. The season's back on.
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Like we're so back, it's over. We're so back, it's over. Ad hominem, unless your name is the Chicago White Sox or the Miami Marlins.
Then you're not.
Or the Colorado Rockies, because they're also pretty bad, sitting at 7-21. One real quick though, something else really bad in MLB is the uniforms.
The uniforms.
The Fanatics jerseys have been terrible.
And now they're going to maybe not be as terrible. I don't know. We'll find out.
We're working on it. We will find out. Unfortunately,
we won't be able to tell you about it here.
It won't be on this segment, but stay tuned to the local sources, and you will find out eventually, as you quickly find out about this next 1-minute break before we have Brent come on for some National Basketball Association. Don't go anywhere.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It looks pretty calm in the bottom of the studio.
It does.
Looks like the floor has been pretty clean.
It does.
And it must have been, because last night the Minnesota Timberwolves brought out their brooms and swept the Phoenix Suns right back to the desert.
Yep.
Timberwolves locking in and completing the four-game sweep of the Suns, 4-0 in 122-116 game. The Suns, they battled.
They did.
I'll give him credit.
Battled.
Devin Booker finally showed up in an elimination game. Historically, Devin Booker in elimination games rolls over and dies because he just can't live for the moment. The lights are too bright. Can't do it. Luka Doncic is his father. He falls asleep at the wheel and usually averages about 13.9 points per game in elimination games. Tonight he scored 49.
Yeah, he did go off.
And still lost.
But he did not show up in the beginning of the series.
No, not when they needed him most. It's kind of like the Avatar.
Yeah.
When they needed him most, he vanished.
He vanished, yeah. Just disappeared.
And then
thin
came
air.
back like after the Fire Nation had already, stolen everything, taken over.
Taken over the city.
Earth Kingdom's fallen, Ba Sing Se's in ruins, but there's no war there. And scores 49 points in some Mickey Mouse Ozai's Comet in the sky Avatar state. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
Anthony Edwards, who I think is one of the best players in the league right now, has scored 49 and 6. Empowering his team to the sweep. Carl Anthony Towns also contributed 28 points. Interestingly enough, though, KD, Kevin Durant, had 33 points. Noticeably missing is their third part of their big three, with Bradley Beal scoring 9, 2, and 1. I've been on this path since the beginning of my time here on Sports Hour, that Bradley Beal is one of many players like this that are small market merchants.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that no one's watching their games, right? Because they play for Washington, who's notoriously horrible, or like the Charlotte Hornets. And we look at the box scores, and it's like, oh my gosh, Bradley Beal had 48 points, 10 rebounds, and 39 assists. He's the best player of all time. And then he goes to an actual team
And
with good
doesn't
players
do
in
that.
good markets, and people watch the games, and he actually has to do something besides just stat padded down 30, and he scores in an elimination game 9 points, 2 assists, and 1 rebound. And I think it was like 3 of 14 shooting.
Yeah, it's not good.
Just
not good.
Completely collapsing.
The downside of the Suns for that series was definitely their defense. I don't know what happened because one of my housemates is a really, really big Suns fan. So I watched a good amount of the regular season games. They usually play pretty good defense when they're on. When they're on, they're on.
Right.
When they're not,
they're kind of like the lights in that way. When
yeah,
the lights are on, they're on.
They're on.
And
When
the
lights
Suns'
are
lights
off,
were off all series.
yeah. I mean, I thought last night, I'm like, hey, it's 3-0. They got to squeeze this one out. Maybe losing
Can't
5.
get swept.
They can't get swept.
Not at home.
KD
Not in
cannot
front of
get
the Talking
swept
Stick
at
Resort
home.
Arena.
Like, come on.
Can't get swept. And KD, they've made a sandwich 4 times. And it's been messed up every time. He's
Yeah,
like,
pretty much.
He had it made in Golden State. He's playing with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. And then he left. He went to Brooklyn. And they got Kyrie and they got James Harden for him. And then didn't work out. Then he's like, I'm out of here.
Now he's in Phoenix.
Trade me.
Desert.
Traded to the desert. They gave him Devin Booker, CP3.
Where is CP3?
Vanished.
What did he do?
And you know what? Because the Suns were complaining. I think one of the biggest, along with their defense, one of the biggest weaknesses in the team was the lack of an offensive identity, especially around not having a point guard. They didn't have anybody running the court. And the head coach, Frank Vogel, asked for a point guard. He was like, give me a point guard that can run this team. And you know what they said? They said, oh, we can't give you a point guard because I'm turning to the dark side as the Sports Hour section comes to a lead.
The lights were hearing us, apparently.
The lights must have been Suns fans that he was tearing into them, foreshadowing my heel turn coming in the next segment. But I lost my train of thought.
The point guard.
Point guard. No point guard.
No point guard.
And they got Chris Paul III riding the pine. One of the best point guards in history. Obviously, he's washed up, not that good, still does State Farm commercials, but they had something.
They did.
And they didn't go to it, and I think it ended up costing them dearly.
Yeah, it did. And you know what? Congrats to Minnesota for moving on to round 2.
They got some other games, though.
Yeah, there are. There are some Orlando and the Cavs are now tied at 2-2.
Yeah, Orlando evened up the series in a quite dominant fashion.
A complete dominant
blowout in the Magic's home court. They blew them out 112-89.
Wagner with 34 points.
Franz Wagner had 34.
Wagner. Said it wrong.
Paolo Banchero. What's crazy about this is the Orlando Magic won this game dominantly, 112-89, without their best player contributing a whole lot. He only had 9 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. That is not a stat line you can look at and be like, oh my goodness, we're so back.
Yeah.
But Franz Wagner powered them. Wendell Carter the Jr. powered them. Jalen Suggs, Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, all 10-plus point scorers. So it was more of like a death by 1,000 cuts kind of attack, which other teams are sorely lacking, such as the Philadelphia 76ers. Right.
Yeah, the Sixers,
The Sixers, Embiid had 27, Maxey had 23, Oubre had 19. Where's the rest of the offense? Tobias Harris is getting paid $48, $52 million this year. Where's he at?
For what? Yeah,
Where's
literally.
he at? 10 points in a must-win Game 4 in Philly.
And everybody was freaking out. Oh, Embiid's back. Embiid's back for
Embiid's
playoffs.
back.
Sixers are going all the way.
Yeah, what's Embiid back to do? Dive at legs?
Yeah, what's he doing out there?
I'll tell you what he's doing. Playing dirty. Flopping all over the place.
Pretty much.
He went up, didn't get a foul call, threw a fit, had a meltdown, cried on national television, then grabbed Mitchell Robinson's knees and yanked on to pull him to the ground. And he didn't get ejected. Oh my God. I really wish we lived in a world in which the name on the back of the jersey did not affect how they're officiated, but we don't.
And you know what? I feel bad for Maxey because he's out there busting his you-know-what. He's trying to do everything he can. And, you know, when you got one of the best players, supposedly one of the best players, Embiid not doing anything.
Right.
There's not much that Maxey can do. Yeah, last game they only lost by 5 points, but it was in their home court.
Yeah.
And they fell short.
They fell short, down 3-1, going back to the Garden for what will definitely be a very hostile atmosphere in Game 5. I mean, interesting to take a look at. Other thing interesting to take a look at really quickly is the fact that the Indiana Pacers are currently leading the Bucks 3-1.
Oh my God, I feel so bad for the Bucks.
The Bucks.
All their stars.
Every player on the Bucks that can make a difference this season is injured.
It's just gone.
Chiefly among them, the Greek Freak is on the pine, can't play. Siakam had 13. Miles Turner had 29. He's the leader scorer. And Tyrese Halliburton had 24 points. And I think if anything if the Bucks are going to win that series, they're going to need to hop on the Dreamweaver, hop on anything.
Hop on the Robos.
Hop on the Robos.
Get something figured out. Maybe call up Topher.
Maybe get Chris to fix the screen
Chris
for him.
can fix the screen. Draw up some more plays.
Draw up some more plays, and we'll see what happens there. Elimination pending. However, though, that is the end of our segment. Thank you so much for coming on, Brent, for what will end up being your final Sports Hour segment. That's all we have time for. We have a quick 1-minute break before Jenna joins us for some NFL draft coverage. Stay where you are.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back for the last Sports Hour segment of the academic school year. Jenna, our beloved EP, is joining me to talk some NFL draft. And where would you like to begin, EP Jenna?
Oh God, that's a tough question. I mean, should we start with what I think everyone expected? Caleb Williams, quarterback out of USC, drafted first overall by the Bears. I mean, I don't even think this was hearsay at the time. I think it was just a fact. As soon as the Bears traded Justin Fields to the Steelers, I think we just knew.
The projected #1 overall pick since the college football season started, Caleb Williams, 6'1", 214 out of USC, did go first overall. And in my opinion, if they had overthought this and went with Drake May or traded down, it would have been a mistake. I think Caleb Williams really can do what Fields couldn't and turn around this Chicago Bears franchise.
I mean, Chicago now has a lot of weapons on their offense. I mean, especially, namely, like they just got DeAndre Swift as their running back from the Eagles. So I think
Caleb Williams went, and I feel like we talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of what happens is NFL quarterbacks, prospects that get taken first overall coming into horrible situations. There's no O-line. There's no receivers. There's no defense. There's no running back. There's no coach. There's no fans. Like, no one cares about first overall picks, except right now I think we could be having Caleb Williams coming into one of the best situations for a rookie quarterback I can remember. Because you're right, they do have DeAndre Swift. They do have a really good defense headed by Tremaine Edmonds. They do have Romo Dunze, who they went and got in my 9th overall pick, who in my opinion I think will go down as one of the best receivers in the draft class. And they also just got Keenan Allen in a trade. So he's immediately coming in, has 3 clear-cut top receivers, has a clear-cut top running back, has a good defense, and really makes his job far easier.
I would say so too. I mean, honestly, I can't remember the last time that I have seen anything positive of the Bears. And then they finished this season, I believe they finished like 7-10, which was looking up, especially since how many years, how many games had it been since they actually had a win?
Right, yeah, like they were definitely trending upwards.
So I mean, just
a team to definitely invest some stock in, if any of you are market analysts. Immediately after that, though, 2 more quarterbacks came off the board.
Yes.
Jaden Daniels went 2nd overall, 6'4", 210 LSU, Heisman Trophy winner. statistically one of the most impressive quarterbacks in the college draft class. Only player in college football history to pass for 12,000 yards, rush for 3,000. Coming off of an ACL tear, I think shouldn't be an issue. I still think it's his home run hit. I think Jaden Daniels is going to come in and prove to the people that doubted him that he earned that Heisman and really can turn around a floundering Commanders that are looking for an identity offensively.
Yes, they are. I think going down, we're going to skip around a little bit, but talking about quarterbacks, the most surprising pick in this draft, I think, was the Falcons selecting Michael Penix Jr. He's a quarterback out of Washington. 8th overall, when they just gave Kirk Cousins the biggest contract for a 4-year, I think it was like, $180 million. I know Kirk Cousins does have a very long history of having season-ending injuries, you know, it wasn't ACL. But I think getting that kind of insurance is good, but also for your first round, you have the 8th pick and you pick a quarterback. I mean, I think they could have easily gotten someone else.
To perhaps put it in perspective, Michael Penix Jr. is 24, turning 25 this season. By the time the 4-year, $120 million fully guaranteed contract that is given to Kirk Cousins is expired, he'll be turning 30. Josh Allen has been starting football games for 7 seasons and won't turn 30 for 3 more of them. That is what they took at 8th overall with quarterbacks that were younger and more project dependent than Michael Penix Jr. I think taking a quarterback for Atlanta was arguably the worst decision they could have made, given what they did in the offseason. I think the fact that they took Penix of the available quarterbacks is even worse because he is 24 years old, and I get that it's not really old in like the literal sense, but it's old in the NFL sense where like players lasting 4 years of the rookie contract is rare. To see a player go 4 years on the rookie season contract and still be in the NFL after it. I don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me. Feels like a waste of pick, especially with players like Rome Odunze the Rome Odunze was still available. J.J. McCarthy, Olu Fashanu, Brock Bowers was still available. Talise Fuaga, Dallas Turner, Amarius Mims, Jared Verse, all players that could come in and actually play football. The only time Penix might play is if Kirk Cousins, who just paid 4 years, $120 million to, is bad, or is injured. And why you want to pay $120 million guaranteed to a player who's bad or injured and is now sitting the bench behind your 24 overall rookie quarterback? I don't know. It makes no sense to me.
Honestly, I have no idea what they are doing. I also don't know what the Bills are doing. I mean, I trust the process, trust Brandon Beane, Big Baller Beane, but also, so we had the 20th overall pick within the draft when we were almost on the clock. We traded to KC for the 32nd pick. We traded down, so they got the 28th pick, picked up wide receiver Xavier Worthy, I think, from Texas. And then we also traded that pick to Carolina, so then we had the 33rd pick, which was in the second round, didn't have any first-round picks. And that's not really, I mean, the biggest deal about that is that the Bills lost the chance to get any of their draft players to have that 5th-year option.
I think a lot of Bills fans were angry that we traded down, especially when we traded down to the Kansas City Chiefs, because for some reason Bills fans think that the Kansas City Chiefs is this boogeyman that is like helping them in any sense is inherently damaging us. Point is, we haven't beaten KC yet. I don't think Xavier Worthy would have been the pick.
Probably not. I mean, Keon Coleman is still a really good pick. I mean, looking at some of his highlights.
6'3". Everyone's gonna point to that 40 time and be like 4.61. Oh, he's slow. Nothing's gonna happen. It's horrible. But things. Unfortunately, the time for me to think about things is quickly ended. So we are going to not send it to a break. We are gonna stand up from our chairs. Oh, so we just sent it to a break. Okay.
Wait, we are?
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back shortly with a special surprise for you guys. Don't go anywhere.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Oh.
Hello.
Oh, look who's back.
Look who's all back. All the seniors.
The orange machine.
Seniors are back.
So we got to do labs, unfortunately.
We're so back.
Because handheld is not working.
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Great.
Awesome. Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
Do you know who
In
I am?
my house?
What are we doing here, Brett?
All right.
You
So
shouldn't even be on here.
Sports Hour fans, all the HOURRRRRRs back at home. These are all of our graduating seniors.
It's true.
This is our final time all being in WNYF on Monday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, now you guys can all tune into Monday Night Raw.
Probably be here next week, but okay.
We might be here next week, but no show next week.
Guys, we'll be here for news on Wednesday.
We still have news. We have news on Wednesday.
I'll be here.
Not for Sports Hour, though.
Not for Sports
so-
Hour.
Friday.
So, Trevor, since you've been gone since December, I think you should start and talk about some of your favorite Sports Hour memories. Since you were our old host, too.
Maybe the screen being broken was a fun one, but also a very, very annoying one. And, you know, David fixing the screen in 2 seconds when Sarah couldn't fix it in, 5 years, 5 months, whatever it was. That was definitely one of my favorite moments. I would have to say, I don't know. You can look at some of the one-liners that we said. I mean, whose house? We got everybody here. I kind of credit myself, give myself a pat on the back that I got everybody into the Wiggles cult and into the Who's House cult. O-Town fandom, so, well, Lily was a part of the O-Town stuff too, but yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite parts. And I don't know. Just if you go back onto the YouTube channel, look at what I'm wearing.
That's true. That's so
the,
true.
The drip and the hair length and the everything. It's
The
fun.
scream
It's fun.
mask.
The scream mask.
Scream mask.
The
All the way
Topher
above.
and Fuller when they came out like The Undertaker was probably my favorite moment. Honestly.
forgot about that
underrated. Underrated moment. But you can't just choose one.
That is, that's
Professor, that's a no-no.
We don't have 50,000.
It was me and, Ethan and I. Is he still? Ethan! And it's still on the slideshow. We rated all of the new liveries for this year for F1. So that was fun. I don't know.
Katie, you have been our F1 person.
I know. I'm sad to not talk about it anymore. Ethan is the one who knows more about it than everybody else that I know. So
And Nicholas Fuller.
And Fuller, but he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Topher.
Floating hat.
But
yeah,
I hope F1 stays on. I hope somebody else takes interest in it, but if not,
Someone might.
I'm okay with being the best one. So
You might be the final F1
What is a
send-off.
kilometer?
You might be.
I'll come back. I'll come back. But
Just to do F1.
okay. But thank you, Sue Hauer, for
Facts.
loving my segment.
Shout out to Howard's.
Shout out to
Georgia.
Shout out to Howard for being fully aware of all
of the terms.
All of the wait, what is it's
the Howards were the
the
start.
vocal stim that Trevor produces.
I'd bring it to the table every Monday.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Well, I think
Go back to last year when it was every Tuesday. Remember that?
Yeah. the good old days.
Started at 9.
Tuesday.
Started at 9. Wasted my whole night.
No.
I think
No,
I
not
can
wasted.
pass it
No,
off
that's
to
bad.
Noah.
Yeah, you pass it off.
You want me to go now, or?
I'll pass this to Mike.
All
How much
right.
time do we have left on here?
Passing Mike the mic.
Passing Mike the mic.
All right, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I don't even know what my favorite memory is. I'm gonna be so honest.
All right.
Nothing comes to mind.
All right, that's boring.
It's gotta be something, Mike.
It's gotta be
Come on,
something.
you gotta
It
give
doesn't
us
even have to
give us
be
something.
A segment thing, just anything. to do with
Anything.
sports
It could
hour.
be around your friends.
It could be something.
It could be around me.
A small memory.
Could be around you.
Someone else start talking.
Come on.
And you are?
Who's going?
You better explain. Okay, I can go now. I mean, I guess the best part. I mean, I don't know anything about sports, which is why I'm never really on this show. I'm more behind the scenes. But I would say probably my favorite memory is just being here for 2 years and just coming here every week to help out with the show and just making all these memories happen. I think that I've learned a lot from being here at the station every week. So yeah, there you go.
Actually, I do have a memory.
All right. Oh wow! Finally.
Yeah. So it was actually from one of the times that the broadcast didn't work. So.
That never
Yeah,
happens.
no, that never happens here. And if you don't know, I am also the chief engineer for the station this semester. And this was about 2 weeks ago. I had been working on fixing it the whole day. I left for the first time and received a call that it was broken. This is before baseball started, so I wasn't coming to Sports Hour because I wasn't talking on Sports Hour. And then I came in and could not, I was trying to figure out how to fix it, and no one would stop talking in the control room. And I had a minor, I was like, okay, I need everybody to stop talking. And then no one did.
Oh, so you kind of just
You had a meltdown, basically.
I was in the control room. We were having a good conversation.
You're having a great conversation.
Don't ask me what it was about, but it was
about
good.
Mark Viento.
And this
What's
is
about Mark Viento? I don't
there's no good way to hold this.
I feel like I'm on a bad TikTok page.
Grip the wire. Grip the wire or hold the clip.
Pour the wine and get lit. That's what I'm saying.
Facts.
Right? Fred Fest is coming up.
Oh yeah.
But no more Tophers.
Which camera am I looking
No more Topers.
No more
I think it's
Topers.
now it's that one.
No bet.
Yo, really? Oh
Floating
man.
hat in the streets.
Wow.
He's gonna be at Fred Fest.
Wait, Justin's favorite memory.
Come on, Justin.
Make it better than mine.
Give it to us.
It won't be that hard.
Come on, mine was basic.
I did really.
When you hit your head.
That was
for the Halloween.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Some of your fits have been pretty
Pickle.
I have my favorite Justin line.
What?
Old Town Winston.
That's a classic. I would say one-liners were definitely probably not peak, but it's up there. It's up there. Pickle Justin was pretty good.
Pickle Justin was solid.
My
That was
favorite video
funny.
still Sam took the video. It was me just waiting for stuff to get set up, and I think I was just doing one of these in the pickle costume. And then Monster Mash was under it. It was good. But yeah, no, I'd say that, and just just being around here, getting more involved in the station. Playing 2K7.
Your glitched PS2 version of it.
Yeah, you guys believe on the last episode of when I actually bring the PS2 down, I don't forget to bring it. He goes soft.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
He did not show up.
No
I want
glitch.
Everything proper. I'm like, bro.
Oh yeah, and coming in today, the screen was working.
And
so
all
that was
cameras.
and all cameers.
And Chase Fraser.
And we're getting new cameras.
But again, everything always works. Everything always works, guys. Don't forget, never. Let's see. Well, Sports Hour is actually the show that got me involved in the station. Shout out to Nick Fuller. He told me that I should do sports because I watch a lot of hockey. And he walked into my room one night, and I had 4 different games going on. And he said, you should really go do Sports Hour. And the first time I came, I wrote a 20-page script, and I read probably none of it. So I learned pretty quick not to do that. But I don't know. Favorite memory, there's so many. 2K7.
Oh, yeah.
All the terms. Honestly, I think everybody getting to learn the terms was probably the best.
Oh,
yeah.
Because it was already everybody. It was so infectious, and the Wiggles. We all started it, and then people at first were like, "Oh my God, these guys are so annoying," and then everybody hopped on the train, and everybody started saying it.
The go-to was, what are they talking about?
No, I saw that pool. I saw that pool, and I dove right in. That was it was great.
Yeah,
I heard
was
Old
great.
Town once, and I'm like, I'm on board.
If it was less than 3 feet deep, that explains a lot.
What can I say?
There's Mike's
What
favorite
can I tell
moment.
you,
There,
Jay?
that's Mike's favorite
Did the
moment.
Wiggles actually copyright us though for that one episode?
Yeah, what about you playing a Wiggles?
Yeah, we got copyrighted.
Yeah, when you played the Wiggles on air. On air.
I have another memory. Playing Balloons Tower Defense on air, and I didn't know what we were talking about, and I was like, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what's going on. I'm playing Balloons Tower Defense right now.
That's the best way to do it.
I think it was football.
Actually, I'm changing my favorite memory because my first one was lame. My actual favorite memory is when last year you guys would just continuously go over, and you would be getting yelled at from the control room. And they just could not cut you off from the control room. They didn't have the heart to shut off the broadcast, so it would just go on. You guys would just see how long it could go on. I think the longest was probably 10 minutes. And it was a good game.
Then they had to shut us off 2 minutes earlier, and we still caught on to that. Went over.
Every week I'm like, how long are they gonna?
It was like situation. We had we should have actually started placing bets in the control room.
It was the whole we'll wrap up phase. We'll wrap up.
And then
that line won an award last year.
it did for anybody watching still. Sue Hauer.
Oh,
Secret Words 2. Secret Words 2.
My favorite moment.
Nice, Cam.
Can I change my favorite memory to Starfish? That's my favorite memory.
Yeah.
Starfish.
I don't remember mine. Oh, mine was Jumbo Shrimp. That's what mine was.
I don't remember.
I don't know which one mine was.
And I said the bandits were all looking like a bunch of jumbo shrimp. That was what I said.
I don't remember mine, but I know it was.
I know I snuck it in pretty smooth, and I don't remember what it was.
I think it was jellyfish. I think it was jellyfish. I think
How
I just
about
said
getting
it.
a pie and almost breaking $1,000 camera? That's
Well, that wasn't.
That's a different show.
That was not on Sports Hour.
But you
No,
can't call them doctor.
they weren't. They were way more.
Yeah.
We're getting new cameras though. So
We are.
for returning viewers.
Oh.
I got that information today from my sources.
They'll all look the same, so when we cut, it'll be like, oh my god, it's the same place.
It's okay. They won't.
It's not
Yeah,
Mexico
it's not.
or Antarctica.
Yeah,
It's
ESPN.
It's WNYF.
Yeah, they won't even tell the difference. So.
Yes, you can if they're better quality.
That's
cameras.
true. Yeah. 21.
My name is
16.
Paul. My team is trading.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know, my name is.
The reason why we're at 480p, guys, is because we go to SUNY Fredonia. So.
Well, yeah, you can't
Where's
get
that?
everything you want.
Yeah, but you
What
can't
is
have
that?
Fred
Who
Fest
is
at
that?
Blackboard.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can't have Fred Fest at Buff State.
Do you know who I am?
You can have
In
Buff.
my house, everybody out.
You can have Buff Fest at
All right.
Buff State.
All right.
Everyone out.
Everyone out.
So
Everyone
I
out.
think I just remembered about this, so now I kind of want to do it. I'm stealing Sarah's idea again, even though I just stole it for this. I want everybody in the control room and everybody behind the camera and everybody that's here to get out here right now for
Do
the
it.
very final send-off.
Do it.
Oh yeah.
Keep someone at
Come
TD. I
on.
don't care who it is. Put
Someone
someone
do
on.
something outlandish.
Everybody
I don't
get
care
in.
what it is.
We need to do an official final send-off.
Oh god. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Look at this great
Here we
crew.
go.
Look at this great crew. Let's go. I don't know
You're
if
not
anybody's on TD, but this is Sports Hour.
This is
I can't
Sports
block
Hour.
you, Ethan.
This is Sports Hour! Let's go Bandits! Let's go Bandits!